guys, and welcome to Katie's Insight, where I give my insight on all kinds of things, including news, business, finance, current events, politics, and most importantly right now, stimulus. We are going to keep going because we have more updates and information. I keep forgetting to tell you guys this, so I just want to give some reminders so you know. Today I'm giving away a $100 gift card, as I've been telling you guys. Very, very simple to be eligible. This is all you have to do to be eligible for that $100 gift card. Like the video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, boom, that's it, you're eligible. That's all you gotta do. The more comments you leave, the more chances you have of winning. So leave as many comments as you can, as you feel called to, and that way you can be entered as many times as possible. And make sure and do this for every video you see, because the more videos you do, the better, and I'll be announcing winners somewhere in today's video, so make sure and stay tuned for that. Also, guys, I do want to do a shout out because we've had so many people leaving mass comments. It's awesome. Please keep it up. I'm so, so grateful. So one person that I want to do a big, big shout out to is Leticia. Leticia. Hold on. I want to make sure I say your name right, because Lord knows I rarely know what I'm doing or even what I am saying. I just want to make sure and get your name right. Let me see. You're in my notifications everywhere. Leticia, I did. Leticia Couch, you have been on it. One comment I'm going to read. She's like, come on, everyone, fist, comment and share. Let's help Katie grow this channel. Girl, I'm so grateful to you and to so many other people. We also had Jolyn earlier. Hey, Jolyn, hey. And every day I want to try to, in every video, I'm going to try to shout out somebody who's been in the comments and just representing. Here's another one. She says, Katie's Insight, thanks. And the way to help karma find people who do you wrong is through your success. Yes, girl. We will have your back to all of your subscribers and even more than before. Oh my God. How could I ever complain when I'm blessed with the best audience on the planet? Leticia, love you, girl. Thank you so much. Mwah. And I'll be hitting you up in the comments later. Okay, so let's get on with it. And so, where have we left off with stimulus? Well, as we know last week, basically the Congress is nowhere to be found, and it seems like none of them care. And then we have Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, who parade around like they care, but they don't really care. And we have Mnuchin and Meadows and the White House, who give the appearance of caring. I hope they do. Who knows? So where's everything at right now? So let me break it down. Where we're at is that last week, we are still in negotiation phase. As we know, November 3rd is the election. So we have this big, stinky election coming up where basically we have to pick between a blank bag and a turd sandwich, as South Park so eloquently points out, which I absolutely love. So here's what's going on. Both sides were going back and forth, and then it came to a crescendo, and we thought we were going to have an agreement. Two different deadlines, one by Pelosi and I think one by Meadows, were enforced. And of course, 48-hour deadlines came and went. And the last one was supposed to end on Friday, and that one was about whether or not we can even get anything done before the election, because that's what people are asking. And I think a lot of people, myself involved, are concerned that if we don't get something until after the election, we're not going to get it till like January or February or maybe even March, because there's just no signs yet of anything being concrete. And everything we hear that there is, it's taken back. It's exactly what happened. So Wednesday, Thursday, we were told big steps had been made. We're almost ready to go and ready to sign this. We're writing the bill. And then all of a sudden Friday, everything collapsed and stimulus talks have stopped. And of course, this is what we've been going through for months. It's just the stick and the carrot right in front of us, which is what I feel the Democrats and Pelosi are doing to Trump, while the Republicans would be happy to go ahead and sabotage Trump, because as we've been hearing, more and more Republicans are leaving the Trump train and they're going to jump on the Biden train, which makes me think, how many of these people have been on Jeff's planes? Please infer. I can't really explain the whole thing. Sound off in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. I think it's both sides at this point. I think they're all disgusting. All of them. I think at this point, the way the American people see this is that President Trump looks like a wild card. I'm not saying I'm pro-Trump. I'm not saying he should win. I'm saying, in my opinion, this is how the American people see it, which is why I think he has a good chance of winning. Again, because we know all the people, both sides have been corrupt. Like I said, if there is a silver lining in this situation, it is that it has brought to life how truly corrupt everything is everywhere. No matter what party you lean towards, they are corrupt. Not to say that Trump is perfect. I'm not pro-Trump and I'm not anti-Trump, but I'm saying a lot of people look at him and think, well, we know the other people are awful. We know you're not great. We know you're not perfect, but might as well take a shot at it. So that's how it looks to me, at least. So That is where we are at right now. Stimulus talks are at a standstill. And as always, on the broken record, in the weekend, everybody comes out like Sunday or Saturday and they just bash each other, which is what is happening. Both Mnuchin and Pelosi are blaming one another as to why things aren't where they need to be and why things aren't going in the direction they should be going. And in my opinion, it's almost everybody's fault but Mnuchin. Like, at this point, I see it and I'm like, I feel like the White House and Mnuchin are the only ones who are really stepping up to help. The White House has conceded to almost everything Nancy wants. If you guys remember, and this is why I get so angry at Nancy, if you haven't seen it, I have a video about Drunk Nancy's interview. Go check it out. I'll have links in the cards. So make sure and see that from yesterday because I had a good time filming that. That was super fun. In the beginning, she sounds super drunk. A lot of people were giggling. No, I was giggling the whole way through. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. But go check that out. But I get more and more furious at her because we could all have help to the end of the year had she done the deal that President Trump wanted, which was we're going to give you everything you want, almost everything. We're just asking you to please extend unemployment, extend rent forgiveness, extend student loan issues into the end of the year. And she said no. And I put a lot more responsibility on her because she parades around like she cares. And how long is this going to take? How long is it? How many more people are going to go homeless? Because right now, a lot of people their evictions are being sent to court so that the court can go ahead and go through with it. It's a very scary time. And I'm very, very frustrated. So forgive me. I think the more time goes on, the more giggly and silly I'm going to get because I'm just so fed up. And I know a lot of you guys can understand because you're in the same place as I am. We're suffering. We need help. And these people just seem like they genuinely don't care. Okay, so where are we at now? Well, we had Miss Pelosi. She spoke up this weekend about everything. And even though things seem to not be going well, she actually spoke really positively and said that basically, again, she was kind of like, everything is here. We are ready to go, which I have that information. I have to tell you though, the more time goes on with Pelosi, the more I just feel like this is a situation where she's just stringing the president along because she knows last time he threatened executive orders, he'll do it. If he says he's going to do something, there's a big chance he's going to follow through with it. And she knows that. She is very, very aware of that. So at least from my perspective, the way this all looks, I feel like she is just touting all this faux positivity on where things are at. Because she's trying to lead him along and string him along because she doesn't want a deal done because a deal done before the election makes Trump look good. B, she doesn't want him to do executive orders. So she wants to always have him think we're almost right there. C, I think the other thing is she has gotten so much crap, which is that interview that I was telling you about, and go see it, the drunk interview. It's so much fun. She got so much crap for being the naysayer and no. Now I think she has to give the appearance that everything's ready and everything's good to go, even though everybody else is saying the opposite. It's a true sociopathic narcissism game that you and I are going to fully understand. Now, I'm fully aware, most of us, to an extent, we might have little, we have little extensions of narcissism and sociopathy. But what I'm referring to is not you and I and most normal people. These people are nuts. And I mean nuts. I'm not trying to insult. I am just being honest on the situation. So this isn't stuff you and I are going to understand. But I do have some information on this, so I want to go ahead and get this to y'all, because that is a proper way of saying you all, if you guys aren't aware, at least in Oklahoma. By the way, a lot of you in the comments are so sweet. You'll be like, shout out from this place, so-and-so loves you, Memphis loves you, Florida loves you. Just so you guys know, I live in Oklahoma, but I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm from Missouri, or the great state of misery, as I like to say. I'm actually from a town called Independence, or Meth Dependence, as a lot of people say, because I think in like 1994, we were like the second in the world for being the meth capital or something. We's classy. So just so you guys know, that's where I come from. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. So this is from Market Watch. It says, Pelosi says she is waiting for final yes from White House on a stimulus deal. House Speaker says Treasury's Mnuchin is expected to respond Monday. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Sunday she's waiting. Did you guys hear that? Do y'all hear that? That's thunder. Hold on. It's snowing outside. We have snow thunder. I don't think that happens often. Well, it's not snowing, but it's icing. Would thunder happen with ice? Sound off in the comments if we can have ice thunder. Huh? It is just one. You can't have ice lightning. Some of the comments you can have snow or ice lightning. I literally just don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that. Let me know, because I know y'all are on it. You guys will educate me like arrears. I got it now. Anyways, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Sunday she's waiting for Monday to see if the White House gives a final yes to a virus stimulus deal. Pelosi said she asked Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin for clarification on lingering issues concerning testing and education. I sent over on Friday the list of concerns we still had. And my understanding is that he will be reviewing that over the weekend and we will have some answers on Monday. Pelosi said on CNN's State of the Union, "We're still waiting for the final okay," she added. Earlier on CNN, the White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, had complained that Pelosi was moving the goalpost in negotiations. Pelosi said it was Republicans who deserved blame for shifting their demands. She was still hopeful, she said, for a House vote before the election, even as many lawmakers see this as an out of the question. The speaker said the language was important because otherwise Trump could spend allocated money anywhere he wants. Oh, girl, this is a beautiful gaslighting tactic. Let's go into this really quickly. So she is now saying that the language is important because Trump could spend the money any which way. Girl, it's you who wants to spend the money however you want on your poorly mismanaged, misrun, homeless, on fire. People can't breathe. The pollution is so bad. People can't live there because the taxes are so high. State of California, sit down. I think that's amazing. And I've heard this over the last few days. She's been throwing this out there. And this is a gaslighting trick, guys. And for those of you, I'm sure most of you know what gaslighting is at this point. It's become kind of a well-known thing. It's basically where people with abusive agendas on some level, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, they will convince you that either you're crazy for the perceptions you're seeing about their behavior, or they turn around and they will transpose their issues on you as though whatever issue they have is not really their issue, it's your issue. That's a cute little clever gaslighting tactic. You guys want to know why I seem biased against the Democrats, even though I say I'm bipartisan? You want to know why I get so angry at them? It's stuff like this. Because at least with the Republicans, you get what you get. You know what you're getting. They're evil. They don't want to help starving people and children. They're pieces of crap, but you know that. They're open with their piece of crapperisness. Arrears. We're aware of that, right? But with her, she acts like the kind, tolerant, loving left. She's amazing. She cares so much. Lets her state get on fire. Lets her state go homeless. Everybody's on welfare in her state because they've made the regulations so tight and even being able to get work and jobs and certifications. And then she turns around and says, well, Trump wants to spend. Girl, Trump doesn't even take a paycheck from the Oval Office. So they get I think $300,000 a year. It's $300,000 or $400,000, I forget. But I know it's under $500,000 that they get. And he doesn't take the check. However, you and your husband were caught with your hands in the PPP cookie jar. Remember that, girl? Because I haven't forgotten and the rest of us haven't forgotten. So this just really makes me irate when I see this. She's saying the language was important because otherwise he'll spend the money anywhere he wants. That's you and your Democratic friends who have ruined your states with your horrific policies. And in my opinion, I'm not saying this about all Democrats. I'm saying this to people at the top, not you find people who might lean Democrat or Republican. That's not who I refer to when I talk about the Republicans and the Democrats. But it seems like they are hell-bent on trying to ruin this country. Why else would they let their states be in the messes that they are in? Cute little gaslighting tactic I wanted to go over. If Democrats win the White House and the Senate and keep the House, Pelosi said she would not wait until next year to rewrite legislation that could be passed without Republicans. The sooner the better. People need help right away, Pelosi said. The talks ongoing are making the bill bigger, better, and safer with retroactive benefits. They better be. What makes me mad about all this is there's only one-time stimulus payments. Everybody's only willing to do a one-time stimulus check for everybody, which I just feel is evil. Once again, I just feel like these people are evil. The leverage is that both sides now appear to want an agreement, some 3 weeks after President Donald Trump pulled the plug on stimulus negotiations, and 5 months after the House passed its HEROES Act, with some bipartisan backing as the second major legislative pandemic relief measure. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell prevented that bill from being taken up in the Senate. Senator Lindsey Graham, a South Carolina Republican now locked in a tight re-election battle, reportedly declared it dead on arrival before the chamber went on summer break. It could happen this week in the House. That's up to Mitch McConnell as to whether it happens in the Senate and then goes to the president's desk, she said. So she says she's waiting for the final yes. However, we heard that things are all at a standstill. However, we did hear Mark Meadows speak up, and he says today things are optimistic as well. Mnuchin did do an interview. It was a phone interview. At this point, Mnuchin seems like he's very removed from the public process, which, like, who can blame him at this point? I don't blame him at all for wanting to be away from this absolute crap show, but I will cover that later. He did do an interview where he called in and he went over some information, so we will go over that. I will be kind of going over the details of that, but yeah, this just really, really bothers me that she tries to turn everything around on Trump, that he's holding things up because this is what he wants. It's like, Nancy, do you think if you just lie enough that people will blindly accept it? Because people are waking up on both sides. On both sides of the political spectrum, we're seeing that neither side gives a crap about us. And I think the Democrats are waking up and seeing the BS, especially when you have hashtag Purple Power. Sound off in the comments if you love Purple Power and LA Late, because they're amazing. They have been having their audience put pressure on the Senate and on the Congress and on specifically Pelosi. And she should get the pressure. She should. This is what she has done is unconscionable to us. It's awful. Makes me furious. It should make all of us furious, the positions that she has now put us in as a result of her wanting her state bailed out. But it's Trump's fault. Trump, who bent over backwards to give you everything you wanted as long as you helped people on unemployment, rent assistance, and student loan debt. And you said, nah, because you want to wait until this country is run into the ground. Are you trying to make this country the same as California? You trying to get everybody to flee from the country like people are fleeing from your state? This woman drives me nuts. She absolutely drives me nuts. But as always, I want to be fair. Let's hear directly from her in her interview with Jake Tapper, where she goes into detail on some of this stuff, and then we get to hear her probably lie. Let's listen. Y'all, sound off in the comments when you hear Pelosi lie. We should make it a drinking game, but I can't drink, so I'll take shots of water. Oh my gosh, I'll get too hydrated. You can die from having too much water, right? That's where I would be, and you guys would be dead. So no drinking games. Let's just sound off and give a letter in the comments. Here we go.
Joining me now, one of the chief negotiators of a potential deal, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Speaker Pelosi, I'll get to the relief bill in a second, but I just want to get your reaction to what you just heard from White House Chief of Staff Meadows about the outbreak among Vice President Pence's inner circle.
Well, I join you in wishing them well and safety, and pay attention to the reality of how this spreads. I'm very sorry that it has reached so close to the Vice President, and I hope that he and Karen, his wife, will keep their distance from those who are infected. It's really sad. Now, look, they have all of the protections in the world, all of the anticipation of how this could spread, all the prevention from it and the rest, and yet they are susceptible. Just think of America's working families, especially America's essential workers, how susceptible they are to this virus, and that's really part of our discussion on the coronavirus negotiations.
And let's talk about that. You said a few days ago that, quote, we'd have to have our legislation all written by the end of the week to get it passed by Election Day. That was last week. You still have not reached a deal. Is it fair to say that a coronavirus relief package is not going to be signed into law before Election Day? There just isn't the time to do it?
Well, you know, I'll never give up hope. I'm optimistic. We put pen to paper and have been writing the bill based on what we hope will be the outcome, what they said they would get back to us on. Here's the thing. For us to do anything, I want to just say to our friends out there who are suffering, and the country is suffering, working families are suffering, millions more into poverty. In the month of September, nearly 900,000 women left the workforce. So we have to act. To do anything, though, that does not crush the virus is really official malfeasance. And to crush the virus, we just have to follow the science. Testing, tracing, treatment, mask wearing, ventilation, separation, and the rest. And that is what Vice President Biden has put forth. So we have it in our bill. They said they're going to get back. Last week, you remember they said, we'll support the testing language with minor touch. Well, that was 55% of the language. We're still waiting for the final okay, and that is a central issue in all of this. We cannot just say, President, here's trillions of dollars, spend it any way you want. We have a plan, a strategic plan.
Speaker Pelosi, when's the drop-dead deadline when a deal cannot happen before Election Day? Because as you note, millions of Americans are suffering. There are 8 million more in poverty.
That's right.
All those women that dropped out of the workforce, presumably, I would think a lot of them probably dropped out because their kids are doing remote education and they have to be home with their children. Thus, they're giving up paychecks. They need help. When's the drop-dead deadline for them to get this help?
Well, I do think, as I say, we're ready. We can change some words in the bill should they come back with some modifications. But you mentioned schools. Children should be safe in schools. We can make that happen across the country. It only takes more money, and that is for separation, for ventilation, for technology, for more teachers and the rest. Children learning, parents earning.
Yeah.
So it is related to the separation that we say in our health piece, but the education piece is another policy piece where we have some disagreement.
Right.
Otherwise, we can negotiate the rest of it.
So we know that the White House has moved closer to your position on lots of issues: coronavirus testing, contact tracing strategy, unemployment benefits, local government.
Excuse me, they haven't yet. That's
haven't?
what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the final.
Well, so they said they would, and you're waiting to see it on paper.
They haven't yet. And also, same thing. They keep moving the goalposts. They every time they say we move the goalposts, that means they're projecting what they did. But let's just, let's be hopeful. We're 9 days before an election.
Yeah.
We're trying to unify the country, and one way to do it is to come together to crush the virus so that we can open our economy, open our schools, feed our people. 17 million children food insecure in our country. But again, the answer is crush the virus.
So I get that, but it just seems like they keep moving closer and closer. I get that you're waiting for it on paper, but it just seems like you're winning. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. I'm looking at all the things that the White House is moving towards your position on, and it seems like you could take yes for an answer.
Well, as soon as they say this is it, in our negotiations, yes, that is the case. But then they take it back, and when they come back, it isn't what we anticipated. So I'm hoping tomorrow, Monday, the secretary, I sent over on Friday the list of the concerns that we still had about what is the answer, what is the answer, what is the answer, and my understanding is he will be reviewing that over the weekend, and we'll have some answers on Monday.
So more than 23 million Americans are on unemployment benefits right now, as you know. One study shows the poverty rate is higher now than it's been in the whole pandemic. 3 Democratic governors in the Midwest, Whitmer of Michigan, Evers of Wisconsin, and Walz of Minnesota, 3 Democratic governors wrote to you, President Trump, and other congressional leaders saying, among other things, quote, "We implore you to put differences aside and agree to another much-needed COVID-19 relief bill." In addition, one of your own members, Congressman Max Rose, said this week that the Democratic Party needs to learn to a certain extent how to declare victory and go home. You're getting a lot of messages from Democrats saying this is good enough, we need to say yes.
Welcome to my world. That is not a lot of messages, although I respect each and every one of them. The fact is, if we don't agree to the science to crush the virus, if they did what is in our bill, that science dictates that we do, then if we do that, we can lower the incidence of the virus in certain areas, open schools, open businesses, and the rest. If we don't, we're just giving money to the president to spend any way he wants, and that has not been in furtherance of crushing the virus. So again, in terms of, we all want an agreement. Nobody wants it more than the House Democrats. We represent these people. We have been fighting for food for the hungry, rent assistance for those who may be evicted. But most importantly, we really have to stop the spread of the virus. And it's, 9 months later?
Yeah, no,
and they still will have refused to honor science with the solutions. And then, of course, we're praying for the vaccine, and hopefully that will be soon.
Yeah.
But many more people will die in the meantime.
If the Democrats win the White House and the Senate and keep the House, are you going to hold out until Democrats have control of everything and you can get a bill more to your liking? Or are you still going to go ahead with working with the president and Mitch McConnell, et cetera?
The latter, for sure. I mean, people need help right away. What I say to them, though, What we are doing right now is to make the bill bigger, better, and safer for you, and the benefits will be retroactive. But no, we wanted the sooner the better, and that's why we're making concessions. We're making concessions too, you know. And so, no, the sooner the better.
Okay.
And Mitch has even, the leader has even said, keep working, and he doesn't want to do it before the election. We want to do it as soon as possible. I thought the president did too, and that was part of the leverage that each side had, that we both wanted an agreement. Why would we even be talking to each other if we didn't believe that we could reach an agreement? So again, it could happen this week in the House, but that's up to Mitch as to whether it would happen in the Senate and go to the president's desk, which is our hope and prayer.
So take a listen to a prediction from President Trump about the House of Representatives. This was in the final presidential debate Thursday.
Yeah.
I think we're going to win the House, okay? You'll see, but I think we're going to win the House.
What's your response?
You keep thinking that, Mr. President. You just keep on thinking that. Just another example of the delusional statements he made there. He said that we're on the decline with the virus, that but cleanest air, cleanest water.
If Democrats keep the House, are you going to run for another term as Speaker?
Yes, I am. But let me also say we have to win the Senate. So all this discussion of the virus takes us to the importance of this election. Vote your health. You see this, we have a nominee for the Supreme Court who would not say, when Senator Feinstein asked her, do you believe that Medicare is constitutional? She said she couldn't say.
Yeah,
what do you think about climate change? Well, I'm not a scientist, and there's some disagreement there. So this is a very important election. And this nomination makes the election even more important for people's health, for clean air, the health of our planet, the health of our people, most importantly. And you see people voting their well-being. And again, we are in this bill, we're trying to get money to help protect the critical infrastructure of our elections, as you see threatened from abroad, as well as to honor people by not making them stand in line for hours to exercise their right to vote. Republicans say no to that.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate it.
Note time! Y'all know I got my transcript ready. This one had a transcript, so this will be even more, because when I do the notes, it can be slightly inaccurate because I will shorten things a little bit, but here we go. So we have this from the speaker.gov website. Transcript of Pelosi interview on CNN's State of the Union with Jake Tapper. October 25th was the release date on this. It says, Jake Tapper joining me now, one of the chief negotiators of a potential deal, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Speaker Pelosi, I'll get to the relief bill in a second, but I just want to get your reaction to you just heard from the White House Chief of Staff Meadows about the outbreak among vice presidents' inner circle. Pelosi says, well, I join you in wishing them well and safety. And pay attention to the reality of how this spreads. I'm very sorry that it has reached so close to the vice president, and I hope that he and his wife Karen will keep their distance from those that are infected. It's really sad. And yes, that's another thing actually to go over is that, so that's another thing. We are now having spikes in the virus cases. It's funny, not funny, haha, but funny, crazy. Like, this is crazy in the sense that, like, we are now having the third wave of the virus. And a lot of people were like, when was the second wave? And I don't blame you. I kind of feel the same way, but apparently it was, this summer when people were going on holidays and that sort of thing, or at least that's where it's being touted to us, if that makes sense. So this is what it's supposed to look like right now, that this is the third wave, and we had Vice President and his cabinet has been hit. The Vice President is okay so far as we know, but his cabinet is now being hit left and right. That's what they're talking about. She says, well, I join you in wishing them well and safety. And pay attention to the reality of how this spreads. I'm very sorry that it has reached so close to the vice president, and I hope that he and his wife Karen will keep their distance from those infected. It's really sad. Now look, they have all of the projections in the world, all of the anticipation of how this could spread, all of the prevention from it and the rest, and yet they are susceptible. Just think of American working families, especially America's essential workers, how susceptible they are to the virus, and that it's really part of our discussion on the virus negotiation. Also, if you guys didn't see, so the counter reaction to this, we had Mark Meadows who went on, and basically Meadows was grilled over the virus. And he was like, look, there's no way to control this. And people were like, oh, you're horrible, you're terrible, you monster. But at the same time, I think he's right. Like, I think to any normal person who's listening to that, they get what he's saying, and that's absolutely correct. You can't fully control this. Now, you can put every precaution in place, but we also still have to function as a society. So, there's a back and forth with that, unfortunately. So Jake Tapper says, and let's talk about that. You said a few days ago that we have our legislation all written up. By the end of the week, we'll get it passed by Election Day. And that was last week. Hey, comment, you heard a lie. Drink some water and comment, but not too much. We don't want to overhydrate. You still have not reached a deal. Is it fair to say that a virus relief package is not going to be signed into law before Election Day? There just isn't time to do it. Pelosi says, well, I never give up hope. I'm optimistic. We put pen to paper and have been writing the bill based on what we hope will be the outcome of what they said they would get back to us on. Here's the thing. For us to do anything, I want to just take our friends out there who are suffering, and the country is suffering. Working families are suffering, millions more into poverty. In months of September, nearly 900,000 women left the workforce, so we have to act. And yes, and that's because people continue to have to stay home with their children, because the schools didn't have any way of safely opening, and it's a mess. And so what do we do with those people who now are not getting paid? There's so many issues, guys. She says, then she says, to do anything, though, that does not crush the virus is really official malfeasance, or as Dwight would say, malfeasance's sake, and crush the virus. We have to follow this. By the way, she said it twice. Listen, to do anything, though, that does not crush the virus is really official malfeasance. I giggle every time I see the word now. And to crush the virus. Said it again. We have to follow the science, testing, tracing, treatment, mask wearing, ventilation, separation, and the rest. Towards the end, she likes to use sanitation. She likes to use all of these rhyming words towards the end of what she says, and then she'll go through the list, the rhyming words, and then teachers. It's just a fun little pattern she has, as the broken record she tends to be. And Jake Tapper says, right, she says, and that is what Vice President Biden has put forth. We have it in our bill. They said they are going to get back. Last week, you remember they said we will support the testing language with minor touch. Well, that was 55% of the language. We are still waiting for the final okay, and that is the central issue in all of this. We cannot just say, Mr. President, here is trillions of dollars. Spend it any way you want. We have a plan, a strategic plan. Really, girl? Again, here's more gaslighting. Take that shot. Take the shot. Get your water on. Get your water on. This is insane. Mr. President, we can't have him spend it the way he wants. I'm not even going to comment. Jake Tapper. Speaker Pelosi, where's the drop-off deadline when a deal cannot happen before Election Day? Because as you know, millions of Americans are suffering. Pelosi says, yes. And Jake Tapper says there's 8 million more in poverty. She says, that's right. Jake Tapper, all of the women that dropped out of the workforce, presumably, I would think a lot of them probably dropped out because their kids are doing remote education and they have to be home with their children, as I said. Thus, they're giving up paychecks. They need help. When is the drop dead deadline for them to get this help? Speaker Pelosi says, well, I do think you know. As I say, we're ready. We can change some of the words in the bill should they come back with some modifications. But I guess it's all Trump's fault. So stupid. But you mentioned schools. Children should be safe in schools. We can make that happen across the country. It only takes more money, and that is for separation, for ventilation, for technology, for more teachers at the end, and the rest. Children learning, parents earning. She loves to rhyme. Dr. Seuss over her. So, it is related to the separation that we say in our health piece. But the education piece is another policy piece where we have some disagreement. Otherwise, we can negotiate the rest of it. Jake Tapper says, so, we know that the White House has moved closer to your position on a lot of issues. Virus testing, contact tracing, strategy, unemployment benefits, local government. Speaker Pelosi says, no, excuse me. They haven't yet. Jake Tapper says they haven't. Pelosi says, that's what we're waiting for. We are waiting for the final yes. Jake Tapper says, well, so they said they would, and you're waiting to see it on paper. Pelosi says they haven't yet. They haven't yet. Also, the same thing, they keep moving the goalposts. Every time they say we move the goalpost, that means they're projecting what they did. When you say move the goalpost, you mean they keep coming up to your amount? So now she's saying that they're the ones projecting. Y'all are going to drown. Y'all just get in a pool and just swim in all this water you're having to take shots with. But let's be hopeful. We are 9 days before the election. Translation, don't be mad at me. It's all Trump's fault. I haven't done anything wrong. Oh, this woman drives me nuts. Jake Tapper, so I get that, but it seems like they keep moving closer and closer. Pelosi says they don't. So I guess because she says it, it's just real. Gaslighting 101. Jake Tapper, I get that you're waiting for it on paper, but it just seems like you're winning. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. I'm looking at all the things that the White House is moving towards your position, and it seems like you could take yes for an answer. Yeah, we're all wondering that, Jake. Pelosi says, well, as soon as they say this is it, in our negotiations, yes, that is the case. But then they take it back, and when they come back, it isn't what we anticipated. So I'm hoping tomorrow, Monday, the secretary, I sent over on Friday a list of the concerns that we still have about what the answer is. What is the answer? What is the answer? And my understanding is he will be reviewing that over the weekend, and we will have some answers on Monday. Jake Tapper. So, more than 23 million Americans are on unemployment benefits right now, as you know. One study shows the poverty rate is higher now than the whole pandemic. 3 Democratic governors in the Midwest, Whitmer of Michigan, Evers of Wisconsin, and Waltz of Minnesota. 3 Democratic governors wrote to you. President Trump and other congressional leaders saying, among other things, we implore you to put the differences aside and agree to another much-needed relief bill. He's calling her out. She says, right. Jake Tapper says, in addition, one of your own members, Congressman Max Rose, said this week that a Democratic Party needs to learn to a certain extent how to declare victory and go home. You're getting a lot of messages from Democrats saying this is good enough, we need to say yes. Even her party is turning against her guys. Pelosi says, welcome to my world. That's not a lot of messages, though. I respect each and every one of them. The fact is, if we don't agree to the science to crush the virus, the science she never releases. If they did what is in our bill that science dictates that we do, that's nowhere to be found. Then if we do that, we can lower the incidence of the virus in certain areas, open schools, open businesses, and the rest. If we don't, we are just giving money to the president to spend any way he wants, and that has not been in furtherance of crushing the virus. So again, in terms of we all want an agreement, nobody wants it more than the House Democrats. We represent these people. We have been fighting for food for the hungry, even though you've let people go hungry for months and not helping them in the meantime. Rent assistance for those who may be evicted. I am showing so many middle fingers right now. You have no idea. I can't actually show them. Picture them with my teeny tiny chubby fists. Also, my hands are really small, just so you guys know. I do have tiny hands. I've always been told that. So I've got child hands. Creepy. Okay, so hold on. I gotta put some chapstick on to get through this. My lips are getting chapped and so irritated. Okay. We have been fighting for food for the hungry. No. Because people on unemployment would have more help if you had gone with what Donald Trump had said and just went ahead and extended something to the end of December. Rent assistance? No, because rent assistance was in there too. And you still did not help. So quit acting like you're for the people. We've just been so hard at trying to help crush the virus and get everybody back to... No, you haven't. Like, this is the stuff that makes me mad. It's when I hear these type of gaslighting comments. This is the stuff that honestly, guys, just makes me furious when it comes to her, because that's my opinion. This is just manipulation. This is point blank gaslighting. And we don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. You guys don't appreciate it. It's making me so mad because we don't deserve to be lied to on a consistent basis from these a-holes. That's my opinion. So she says, but most importantly, we really have to stop the spread of the virus. And it's what, 9 months later, and they still have refused to honor the science with the solutions that you won't release. You won't release it, Nancy. And then, of course, we are praying for the vaccine, and hopefully that will be soon, but many people will die in the meantime. You know why many people will die? Because they can't afford medicine. Because they don't have food, Nancy. How do you fight the virus without food? How do you fight the virus if we don't have food for our immune systems? This woman, Jake Tapper, if the Democrats win the White House and Senate and keep the House, are you going to hold out until Democrats have control of everything and you can get a bill more to your liking? Or are you going to still keep going to go ahead with working with the president and Mitch McConnell, etc.? Pelosi says the latter for sure. People need help right away. What I say to them, though, what we are doing right now is to make the bill bigger, better, and safer for you, and the benefits will be retroactive. She keeps promising this. Remember, guys, she has no authority to promise that. Just going to throw that out there. But no, we want it. The sooner the better. And that's why we are making concessions. We are making concessions too, you know? And so no, the sooner the better. What concessions? No. All you've done is shorten the time frames. That's not a concession, you liar. What? Bottoms up. And Mitch McConnell the leader has even said, keep working, and he doesn't want to do it before the election. We want to do it as soon as possible. I thought the president did too. And that was part of the leverage that each side had that we both wanted an agreement on. Why talk to each other if we don't believe we could reach an agreement? So again, it could happen this week in the House, but that's up to Mitch as to whether it would happen in the Senate and to go to the president's desk, which is our hope and prayer. Now, yes, I will agree. Mitch has basically put his foot down and told the White House and said, okay, so I'm not just going to sign anything because you guys do a deal. And he's also told his colleagues don't sign it. So this is becoming a mess. So she's not wrong about the Senate. I will give credit where it's due. Jake Tapper. So take a listen to a prediction from President Trump about the House of Representatives. This was in the final presidential debate Thursday. President Trump says, I think we're going to win the House. You'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. Jake Tapper, what's your response? Pelosi, you keep thinking that, Mr. President. You just keep thinking on that. Just another example of the delusional statements he made here. He said that we are on the decline with the virus. That, Jake Tapper says, right. Cleanest air, cleanest water. Jake Tapper, if Democrats keep the House, are you going to run for another term as Speaker? By the way, they cut that off. He said he thinks they're going to win the House because people like Pelosi keep getting in the way of people getting help. Of course, they cut that off conveniently. So then, Speaker, and when it comes to running again, which God, no, please get her out of there, her and her horribly run state. Pelosi says, yes, I am, but let me also say that we have to win the Senate. So all of this discussion of the virus takes us to the importance of the election. Vote for your health. You see this. We have a nominee for the Supreme Court who would not say when Senator Feinstein asked her, do you believe that Medicare is constitutional? She said she could not say. What do you think about climate change? Well, I'm not a scientist and there is some disagreement there. So it's very important on the election. The nomination takes the election even more important for people's health, for clean air, the health of our planet and the health of our people most importantly, which is why you allow pollution to be crazy high in California and why you allow mass fires to destroy. You've allowed mass fires to destroy your country and pollute the air. Oh, but you're for clean air and water. Get out of here. Right, you're for clean everything when you let people go homeless because that's real sanitary. That's real healthy for the planet. And you see people voting their well-being. And again, we are in this bill. We are trying to get money to help protect the physical, the critical infrastructure of our elections as you see threatened from abroad, as well as to honor people by not making them stand in line for hours to exercise their right to vote. That was what people had to do anyway before. You just want to, my opinion, she just wants to sway the election in her favor. Remembering, Nancy Pelosi not going to piecemeal, not do a stopgap bill. Nancy, who then went ahead and did a stopgap bill, and then piecemealed. The stopgap bill was to make sure she continued to get paid, and piecemealing was for the post office, but she can't do it to help us. Oh, she cares so much about the cleanliness of the environment and the cleanliness of things. This woman, people are on the street, homeless and sick. She says, so then Jake Tapper says, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, thank you so much for coming. My pleasure. Be safe. I have my mask right here because, and that's Jake Tapper saying that, but it does make me mad because in the last press conference Pelosi held, and you guys were complaining in the comments, and you have every right to, that Pelosi was just acting a freaking fool with that mask. Like she put the mask, she's never worn a mask when it comes to these, the press conferences. She'll come out with a mask on and then take it off. But this one she did. And I was like, is it because you're getting so much crap on your hypocrisy? Remember, Orange Man bad for not wearing a mask all the time, but you never wear a mask at these press conferences. And now all of a sudden you've got your mask on and nobody can hardly hear you. Drives me nuts. But that is where we're at right now. A lot of lies, a lot of gaslighting. Basically, as you guys can tell, Nothing has changed. So, but the big question that's on everybody's mind, and it should be, and I don't blame you for wondering about this, what is going to happen to us? Are we going to get anything that's going to pass coming up? Is anything going to pass to actually be able to help us before the election? Unless Trump does a sneak surprise attack in an executive order, I don't see it happening, unfortunately. And here's the thing, he definitely could. And I've been saying I think he should, because this would top it off and give him a win for the election that, in my opinion, he desperately needs. So I think he absolutely should, and he did threaten it for a while. And like I said, he could come out with a wild card just a few days before the election. Typically, though, when Trump does something like this, we will see that pattern that I've talked to you guys about, that pattern where he starts teasing it in the media, where he'll have, the people around him, like Larry Kudlow, Mark Meadows, Steve Mnuchin, Stephen Moore. He'll have these people start to put out little pieces. That's what he did the first time when it came to the executive orders. He did that the week before, announced he was going to do it, and like a week later, they did it. It was crazy how quick this situation went. So I think we'd be hearing things come out from Trump if he was wanting or thinking about doing this. I think from his perspective, he may look at this and say, you know what, it's just too close to the election. It's too close to the election to actually be able to do this. And I would understand why. Like, tactically, remember, this is all about tactics. All of this negotiation, this is all business. And that's why a lot of people like Trump. That's why a lot of people wanted to vote Trump in, because they realize he's a businessman and negotiations are all about business. This is not even me saying I'm pro-Trump or anti-Trump. I'm just showing you what this looks like. And because he's very good at negotiations, he could say, I could look at him with this and say, I could pass an executive order, but two things could happen. It could backfire because people could say, what took you so long, right? To do it right before the election, but it could also give him a win as the only the president who looks like he cares above everybody else. I would say his best bet is to do it, but is he going to? We will just have to wait and see. I don't yet know. We will just have to be patient and keep taking our Nancy Pelosi water shots. Y'all are just going to be, like I said, just get a kiddie pool and fill it up, because that's what happens when you watch an interview with her and you play the shots game. Remember, guys, that song from 2012, Take Shots and You Dive in it. What am I thinking of? You babysitting your shots. Sound off in the comments if you guys know what I'm talking about. Why you only babysitting your shots? Dive in a pool full of liquor. I don't remember. I remember I used to really like it. I go, yeah, I just had fun. I don't drink. It was just a fun song. Dive in it. I liked it. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, please support this channel. Give me a big thumbs up, like the video, subscribe, hit notifications so you can be notified daily what is coming on the pipeline for you and your stimulus money. Also, guys, sound off in the comments. I want to hear everything, and every comment helps grow this channel. And guys, make sure as well, please share this content with as many people that you know are struggling right now. People on unemployment, waiting for unemployment, waiting for stimulus checks, SBA loan and grant issues, bill issues, everything in between. I've got tons of tools and tons of resources to help you on this channel, and I would love the opportunity to do just that. And guys, the more you like, subscribe, comment, hit notifications, share the content, the more my channel grows, the more things I can do to give back to you guys. For instance, our $100 gift card giveaway, which I'm announcing winners today, and they will be somewhere in today's video. So continue to keep watching to the end to see where they will be at. But if you want to be eligible for a $100 gift card, so simple, this is all you have to do. Like our video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, boom. You're entered, you're eligible. That's all you have to do. And guys, the more comments you leave, the more times you will be eligible. So hit me up with those comments, boo-boo. Do it for every video you see, because the more videos you do it, the more times you will be eligible. Good luck. Also add me on Facebook, Katie's Insight, like the page, join the group. And that's group is Katie's Corner. It will be changed to Katie's Insight soon. We are helping one another with stimulus issues and sharing info. So go on there. We're having a great time. Can't wait to see you there. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this video here now, but you know I will be back later with info, and make sure and stay tuned to see if you are a winner of a $100 gift card. Take care, guys. Much love, much respect. So much gratitude to you all. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this with you guys. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.